Hello everyone, today is a big day because, as you can see behind me, the containers have arrived. That's it, the house is behind me. Now, I only have a little too much left to do. I must not think about it right away. I propose we approach this in 2 stages. A first time where we will show you how the containers were installed, and then a second time where I will explain to you why I made this choice. Where did I buy them? At what price? The container question will be fully addressed today. Let's go. Hi, I'm Julian Malara, and this is my container house. I'm 26 years old, have no knowledge of do-it-yourself, but I've taken on the crazy challenge of building an affordable and eco-friendly house. I'm also trying to develop my resilience and live in harmony with nature. I'm filming all of this, I put it on this channel, so subscribe if you want to follow the adventure. This one needs to be in the middle of the plate. It works. Well, yes, a little less than the middle. So since this overflows, yes, it's more him who needs to be in the middle of the plate. Actually, it rolls. There, it's very good.
It pricks well.
Yes, but actually it's very thin. The IPN, I thought it was much wider than that.
Unfortunately, it's not any wider.
That's good. It rests well on it. It rests on it, yes. And there will be the other one that will also rest on it, and it's good.
After you, when you look like that, you are really underneath. You have the circle there. Yeah, you are really next to the circle.
Yeah, I'm on the circle. There you go, the same. And the other, it will be the same. It will be the same. So it's gonna be okay.
Good, perfect.
And there on the side, they are all well supported, right? When lowering the containers, we first had to ensure they were properly aligned on the technopiles. And I admit that I was a bit scared because, as you can see, the container is not really on the pile. It's more on the plate that's on top of it. And I was afraid that the plate would unsolder, that it would fall. Well, it's planned for thanks Technopure, everything worked well, but here we are, we had to push the containers really between them so that they stick to the maximum, that they are well aligned. Despite weeks of calculating to ensure the Technopure were correctly placed, it was quite stressful. When the containers arrive, if we made a mistake, it's too late. Yeah, there, we might need to push back a bit. And they can't stick together. No, because of the... Is it curved?
It's curved, okay. So now I'm going to remove one. Yeah, I'm going to push it a bit over there, but you have at least that.
And that is to say, at least that of space between the...
2, yeah. Still for that one, and then afterwards, at the end, they show us that.
No, normally no, it's planned for we...
Leave it like that then, yeah.
Yeah, it's very good, we have no choice. What's there between the 2 containers? There's 500 millimeters apart, a little more. Do you want to go up and see? Oh, I'll see that tomorrow. I'll climb on it. To weld them, did I take 10 centimeter plates to weld them together? It's gonna make centimeters, it's going to cover the yes, so that yes, a 10 centimeter plate on top, it's going to do it. The second thing to be careful about was to stick the containers together as much as possible so that there is no daylight between them. As you can see, we have miserably failed as there is a 5 centimeter gap between the 2 containers. For the simple and good reason that the sheet metal is corrugated. In fact, since these are used containers, it is bulging. In fact, not corrugated. And so the containers cannot tighten to the maximum. The sheet metal touches, it's not very serious, it will be caught up later, but it's good to know. Especially if we offset each container by 1.9685 inches, we feared it wouldn't fall correctly on the last technopile. Fortunately, I had put large plates, I had already calculated this small gap in anticipation, so no problem. But it's worth knowing, we can never really stick the containers together when they are second-hand. So there, he was saying that we were quite limited to lift them over the electric wire. But now it should work better, since we are closer to the crane. But we are still on a quite complicated operation, you know. And there, where does this door go? On the side. Turn here, that's it, yeah. Well, there are the first 2 points, the question of technopoles, the gap between the containers. It was mostly me who was stressed, but in reality I had planned well in advance. Technopure had advised me well. The crane operator knew what he was doing. So there you have it, more fear than harm. However, that electric pole there, it gave us a hard time because the containers, we had to carry them above 12 meters high, above the electric cable, bring them back down to the ground and there, on the ground. We had a second problem. It's that this container, it was 16 meters from the crane, but the crane, it can only reach up to 16 meters. 16 meters, that's the maximum. So when we were placing this container, it was beeping. They were at the maximum load, at the maximum distance. We couldn't have put the container 50 centimeters further. It wasn't possible. The maximum was at the crane's location. And fortunately for the crane, we had built a stone platform. Because normally it was supposed to deliver on land. Given how we sink just in shoes, the crane wouldn't have been able to work here at all. So, thanks to the earth mover, who was able to make this platform in stones, which will later serve as a parking lot for cars. Now that everything is in place, I suggest you visit the house. Welcome to my living room. It's fully equipped. It doesn't even echo too much. The television will be over there, and the sofa will be over there. There's still quite a bit of work to do, but at least we can see that the floor is pretty flat. Already it's still in pretty good condition. That bodes well for what's to come. But now we're going to have to cut this wall to open up the living room, because the living room will be 2 containers thick. And then sand, repaint, all that. There's work to be done, but it promises to be beautiful. It's good. My containers are placed on my piles. I can finally take a breather. The biggest effect? Not at all. There's still quite a lot to do, but at least I'm reassured. My containers are there. We can start this adventure. Now that we've seen the part, how about the delivery of the containers? I want to address the question of why I made this choice, why choose containers of this type to build my house. How much did it cost me? Is it really eco-friendly? All these questions, we're going to get to the heart of the matter. But before that, if you're interested in this video series, well, subscribe, that's all there is to it. I have nothing else to tell you. Subscribe, because it would be silly to miss the next steps. The containers have been delivered, but they still need to be cut, welded, and have windows installed. Alright, let's start the video. The environmental impact of concrete is no secret to anyone. Spoiler alert, this impact is catastrophic. There you have it. If you want more information on this topic, I suggest you watch the video by Ossonskorser on the subject. This video is exceptionally interesting, like all others on their channel. Building my house in concrete was not an option for me, unlike what everyone else does. I had to look for something more ecological, and I must say I was spoiled for choice. Stone, wood, earth, straw. Well, really, there you go. There were plenty of solutions. But for me, the house made from recycled shipping containers caught my eye. For many reasons, which I will now explain. At least from an ecological point of view. It seemed very interesting to me because on one hand, I'm not using any concrete, and on the other hand, I'm reusing an object that has already been produced. So I'm saving the grey energy of construction. But I must admit to you that if ecology was the only point I had to consider, that really everything else was okay and just the ecology. I might have rather gone for a house made of earth, straw and wood. Because from an ecological point of view, it makes more sense than big metal cubes produced by heavy industry. But ecology was not the only element in my project, even though I wanted it to be at the center. But I also had to deal with time, ease of execution and cost. And that's what we're going to see right now. So, time and simplicity. I'm someone who's in a hurry. You could say it like that. Let's say that I like it when projects move along quickly, and I especially like to change projects regularly. So, I had to find a construction project that wasn't going to last me several years. Or one that wasn't going to force me to organize dozens and dozens of participatory construction sites. Because we must not forget that in this adventure, I am quite alone. Yes, console me in the comments, I am all alone. No, that's not true. I'm not really all alone. Because I still have a lot of design offices that help me, that support me. In this project, I have craftsmen who come to do some work. I have my family and friends who occasionally support me. But well, that's the bulk of it. The project manager, it's me. And that's a lot of work already for two shoulders. But what I mean in general is that of all types of construction, container housing is a construction that is quite quick to carry out and requires very few people. If I stick to the schedule I made for myself, and I didn't do it all alone, I looked at what others had done for their house. And there you have it, if I stick to this schedule. In 6 months, working 2 to 3 days a week all by myself, the house should be weatherproof and airtight. And in a year, it should be completely finished. I should have my little jacuzzi and all that. No, not at all. Compared to other construction types, it remains quite interesting. The big advantage of the container house, as we just saw, is the speed and ease of execution of the work. But most importantly, as we will now see, it's the price. The containers I chose are last trip containers. In other words, they have spent 15 years at sea. So they are well used, but they are still watertight and structurally intact. They are 12 meters long, we can also call them 40-foot containers, and they are I-cube, that means they are 2.70 meters high compared to 2.40 meters. For classic containers, I bought these 4 containers from the company Volume, which sells containers. But they also transform containers into houses, offices, restaurants, or anything else you desire. For people who might not have the strength to do these jobs, I chose this company because they gave me the best offer at the time, but also because they had impeccable customer service. I still want to give 2 big shout-outs to 2 companies that were in the running, who were also ultra competitive, who had great customer service. Blue Tenor and Inbox. Really, if you have to contact only 3 companies, it's Evolume, Inbox, Blue Tenor. If you're interested, I'll give you the names of all the other companies I contacted who provided me with a quote. I'm checking my notes now. Kubner, Boksinov, Modular Cube, there you go. Their offer was a bit less competitive, their customer service was a bit worse, but at least they responded to me. And I really emphasize this, prioritize companies that have the best customer service. Because when you embark on a construction project like this, a container house, you're going to have 1,000 questions. And if you don't have someone in front of you who is able to provide appropriate answers, you're going to waste a lot of time and a lot of money. So it's better to pay more for good customer service than to pay less and struggle to contact your supplier, or that your questions are not answered. That was Julian's little tip. Now let's get to the heart of the matter. The price, the dough, the cash. How much do these containers cost? Damn, I know that's what you're interested in. Yes, that's what we're most interested in. When building a house, how much is it going to cost me? And I know you're in mode. Why does he keep this until the end? Why does he build up the suspense? Tell us! It's for the watch time. I keep this until the end for the watch time. But in return, I promise you that I will be transparent about Bruno, who built his house 3 years ago. In containers, I had to pay 2 or 3 times more than him. And what? The price increases a lot on average, ladies and gentlemen. A classic used container, therefore. 2 meters 40 in height, 12 meters long will cost you an average of 4,200 euros including tax. An I-cube container, so 2 meters 70 high, still 2 meters long, still last trip, will cost you 4,900 euros including tax. I was lucky, I got a bit of a special offer where I got 4 I-cube containers for 4,400 euros, including tax per container. Which makes me, I look at my notes, 17,600 euros of containers for my part. It seems expensive, but it's not very expensive for a house after all. Regarding delivery, you need to move your containers from the port to your land. For that, you will have to pay for trucks. I had to drive the containers from Lyon to Tournus, which took an hour and a half. It cost me Baba 600 per truck and container, totaling 2,400 including tax. And finally, the installation of the containers. Well, yes, because you have to get them out of the truck. You have 2 options. Use trucks with a small crane on top to place the container next to the truck. It's going to cost you an extra 150 euros per truck, or you can pay for a crane that will have a reach of 16 meters. So it can move the containers much further, and it will cost you 600 euros for half a day. My land was not right next to my containers. I had to go over an electric cable, place the containers far away. So there you have it. I took the crane. It cost me 600 euros including tax. For 4 last voyage, iCube containers 12 meters long, the purchase of the containers, delivery, installation, all included. It cost me was 20,600. After negotiating and leveraging the competition, we reduced the cost for the container part to 20,000 euros. If we sum all this up for 10,000 euros, I got my foundations. For 20,000 euros, I got my containers. And bam, I have the main body of my house. I just need to cut, insulate, and it's finished. Well, basically, little anecdote, the foundations and technopiles were finished on Tuesday, February 22, and the containers were delivered on Friday, February 25. So in the same week, for 30,000 euros, I got the foundations and the main body of my house. Container homes are unbeatable. That's the strongest argument in their favor. There you go. I hope I've answered all your questions. Don't hesitate to ask in the comments. If you have any additional ones, I'll answer them. Other people in the community will answer them too. Our goal is to discuss, build this adventure together, bring ideas and support each other. That's important. There you go. Don't hesitate, and don't forget, I want to say to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the next videos. Thank you for watching this one until the end, and see you very soon.